Hi everybody, it's Crafting Vicky here, and this time I'm sharing with you my last make for the special DT for Sashi Cheryl. I totally love her images, and I figured I would do something quite different actually from what I usually do, and I would share it with you live. And I wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out, but it actually turned out the way I had pictured it pretty much, so I was happy with how it did. And so I'm using a little wood block, and like I said, a little digi, but I wanted to incorporate the digi in the scenery that I was making and really make it disappear so that it doesn't show that it's a digi. So I wanted to do a little brick wall, and initially I was going to paint after I glued down the digi, but then I figured this way part of it would be better with better coverage, so that's what I did. And all the paints that I use are the cheap ones at the dollar store, so nothing fancy. The only product that was more fancy is my my gel medium that I used, and of course the digis. But the rest is pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy. Here I'm using decoupage glue to put down the digi, and as you can see, the bottom part is all white. The image was colored with my Copics, so I did the base, like the inside the window, and I stamped a little image, the little sentiment that says "Je pense à toi," and in English it means "I'm thinking of you," because, like I said, this is going to be a gift, and my stepmom totally loves rabbit, so I'm giving it to her, and hopefully she's not going to watch my video. Otherwise, désolé Guylaine, you saw it ahead of time, but or you can stop watching right now and see it later. So here it was a bit of a tricky process because I'm putting the gel medium and I'm putting it very heavy, and then I'm making lines for the brick with a credit card. But I wanted it to go over the image, so that's what I did at the bottom where the birds are, but the birds are quite small, so it wasn't easy to place down. And I'm happy to say that it turned out good, but at this point in time I was a bit worried on how it was going to end up looking because I put it very heavy. It took a while to dry, and I had to really use the heat gun quite a lot. So I'm testing it out to know if it's dry, and then I'm putting back some of the red because obviously the gel medium stayed kind of whitish. You can still see the brick through it, but it's not as clear. So here I'm doing the detail work, trying to go around but not too much on the image, which is not easy. Some people are probably better at this than I am. Detail work is a little bit harder for me to really, especially like I said, the little birds, they're quite tiny, so it's not easy to go around them, and obviously there's a lot of texture as well, so that, and you want to cover the whitish texture that was created. So yeah, it was interesting to say the least. The little brush that you see me using is also from the dollar store, so very cheap little brush. I love using those because when they get too messy and disgusting, there's actually 5, I think, in the set that for $1 or $1.50, and when they get too yucky, I can just throw them out, and I don't feel bad about it. But I do wash them after, and I try to use them for as long as I can. So here I'm doing the as much coverage as I can, but I need to go over it a few times to be able to really make sure that I get good coverage of the my brick wall. So then I thought it was a bit too red, and brick is not uniform color, so I decided to add some brown with a makeup brush, just a little accent to make the texture kind of pop up and see it better and define the brick more. So that's what I'm doing here, putting a little bit, and in certain areas I put a little bit too much, so I went back with my brush and added some more red on it. That's the what I love about the paint, is that you can really play with it and you don't have to worry too much about it, because it's just paint. So just have fun. And by the way, the base for this is wood that I cut myself, and I sanded the edge and everything. So that comes up to be very, very cheap as well. For anything that you want to make like that, you can just get a nice piece of wood at the hardware store, and just make sure that there's not too many knots and it's looking good, and then cut it down to the size you want. And it makes a lot of little pieces, and then you just edge them with the sander, and that's it. So you get very cheap base, and it's very custom, and it's really unique, and it's yours. So here I'm doing with the Faber-Castell, I'm putting down my lines so that I have the mortar between the brick, so you really see it. And I'm also edging the window because the edging of it kind of disappeared, so I'm making it pop a bit more. And of course, I'm just following the lines that I had already created with the credit card, so it's not that hard. And I had forgotten to do the side, so that's what I'm doing here, because I wanted it to still look good from all the sides of it. Sorry. And of course, I had the little grass, and it was missing the rest of the grass, so that's what I'm doing here. Obviously, because it's green and my base is red, I had to put more. But at the same time, it was okay that it's being done this way, because the brick in the front of it, technically, is still in front of... the grass is still in front of the brick, so it's okay that you kind of see the brick go through it a little bit. So it was just, it came out to be a good way of doing this. I had already varnished the piece prior to doing that, but I had to do it again because I had put the grass. And here I'm putting the final glossy varnish. By the way, before I did that, I let it sit for a little bit of time because I really wanted it to dry. And I'm sorry I didn't notice that I was out of focus. So that kind of sucks. Here I'm putting back the little mustache from of the little rabbit, because I was fussy cutting, so I didn't keep all of those. So then I'm putting my beeswax on top of it, and that's it. It's all finished. So here it looks. Hope you like this, and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me comments. Love reading them. Bye.